Hey friends, author Carissa McIntyre here, Lady Mac XO. And today I would like to read to you guys a little bit from my newest short story that is available on my mail list called The First Time Again. It's the one with the pizza all over it. And it is a yummy, steamy story about a straight couple who feel like their marriage has gone a bit stale. And in this story, it is up to the wife to spice things up. It does include bondage and oral, and the full story can be found on my website, Lady Mac XO. I'm not going to read the whole thing because that would get me flagged on YouTube for posting this public. And I would like you guys to get a little bit from my novel or from my short story. But I do have some long, full versions of some of my short stories available on Patreon. And also, I know my setup sucks. Sorry, my sound isn't awesome. I need to get a mic. I need to get a lot of things. But, in order to do that, I have to make content and get my stuff out there so that you guys know about all of my yummy novels. So here you go. Here's a reading. I'm all clingy-clangy. Here is a reading for my newest short story, and I hope you guys like it. Looking up from her desk, she glanced out the window that faced west. The sun was going down. She had been at this all day, and still felt like she wasn't caught up enough on her work. Some way or another, she was always behind. Sasha sighed. A glimpse at the clock told her that most of the other people in the building had already left. Not many people stayed late on a Friday. Derek was gonna kill her. He was always complaining that they never seemed to have enough time for one another anymore, and he was right. He worked odd hours at his job, and she was always here, sitting at her desk trying to write another article or short story or pick away at her novel. There was always another publisher that wanted to have a meeting or another deadline to make, or an email or phone call to return. And she found that she could almost call her office her other home. Sasha laughed. That was it. She was going home, to her real home. Jumping into her car, she started her drive. Passing by a pizza place, she figured she would give Derek a call and then pick up some dinner. They never sat down and ate an actual meal anymore. It was always something quick and easy, or takeout. She pulled the car over and got out, taking her cell phone out of her purse, and she called Derek as she started walking into the store. He answered on the second ring. Hello? Hey babe, she replied. How you doing? She heard him hesitate before answering. Are you calling to tell me you're working late again? Sasha found herself laughing, and as she glanced out, she noticed a sex store in the same plaza. Suddenly, she had an idea. No way, babe. I'm already on my way home when I thought I would stop and grab some pizza for us, but I had an idea. Do you have any plans for tonight? Well, he answered, there is a hockey game on tonight, but for once it sounds like we might be able to spend some time together. So I figure I can put that on hold and watch the replay later. Sounds like a plan, hun. I'll see you when I get home. I love you. I love you too. Tucking her phone away, she checked to make sure the shop was open before she stepped inside. Sasha pulled into the driveway a little over an hour later. She saw Derek watching her from the kitchen window as she gathered her things and headed for her house. He met her at the door with a kiss and took the pizza from her, eyeing up the bag in her other hand. What did you get? He asked. Laughing, she replied, You'll find out later. She walked into their bedroom and shut the door behind her, putting some things away. In the kitchen, she could hear him taking out plates and getting their pizza ready. When she was done, she found him in the living room on the couch. Perfect. She had a video in her hands. I stopped by a store on the way home while getting pizza and bought us some cheap entertainment. She put it on, and Derek almost choked on his pizza when the porn started. Interesting choice of cheap entertainment, he said. Sasha laughed and snuggled in next to him, taking a bite of her pizza. She was starving. I thought you'd like it. Good pizza? He nodded and continued to stare at the screen, his slice forgotten in his hands. On screen, a young couple were making out by a pool, hot and heavy, their hands all over each other's bodies, obviously well enjoying one another. Over the last year, Derek had begun to find that his and Sasha's love life wasn't what it used to be. They were just too busy, not making time for what mattered, too tired, and when they did have sex, it was just that, sex. Quick and fast, no foreplay, no touching, no fun. None of the closeness and intensity, and more importantly, passion, that used to come with their lovemaking. He wondered if Sasha noticed this too. She watched his reactions from the moment the porn started till now. Sasha had thought about what movie to buy almost the entire time she had been in there. The rest had been no problem. She already had a pretty good idea in mind about what their sex would be like tonight. But she had needed to find something that was really going to open up the door and put them both in the right mood. Sasha was becoming frustrated with their lovemaking herself, if you could even call it that. She thought back to the first time they had ever had sex. It had taken her to places that she had never felt before. And now it was just emotionless thrusting, a few minutes of pleasure for him on occasion before they both went to bed. She couldn't remember the last time that they'd fooled around or even made out a little bit before. I'm going to skip the end of that sentence. So she had hemmed and hawed over the movies until she had found one that had a lot of romance and a lot of passion in it. Sure, it seemed more along the lines of a porn that a woman would want to watch, but she was hoping that it would spark a little bit of remembrance in his eyes and make him hungry for her once more. By the time Sasha had finished her fill of pizza, which was 3 pieces, her maximum, Derek was still sitting there with his first piece in hand, totally ignored. His eyes were glued to the screen. "Not hungry, babe?" The sound of her voice snapped him out of it. He had been thinking about the first time they had had sex himself. How sexual and hot it had been, and comparing it to what they had now. There was a huge difference. He was determined not to let that happen tonight. It was time to bring the fire back. Tonight, he wanted it to be like that first time, again. He glanced up at her, for she was standing in front of him now, and he noticed the smell of her perfume. Desire for her began to build up inside of him. The pizza was good. I'm just not that hungry right now. At least, not for food. All right, I'm going to leave that right there because it gets pretty hot. Sasha takes control and leads the way to the bedroom. And she calls the shots. And they definitely add some spice back to their relationship. So I hope you like that short story reading. I'm trying to get better at these. I don't have them memorized, but I have way too much content to memorize my work. That's crazy. On that note, there is, I think, 8 free stories available on my website that are very yummy, erotic, free. And then in my blog section, I have probably 5, 6, 7 free erotic blogs. There's some sex ed, some other tips in there. And then, of course, I have 7 full-length, very steamy, smutty, delicious novels. All of them you can find on my boutique and Lady Mac XO. And all my novels, author Carissa McIntyre, can be found on Amazon and Kindle. So if you like this, you watched this all the way, could you please give me a like, give me a comment. If you're new here, subscribe. I'm definitely not new. This is my 6th year creating magic from a broken shell of what I once was. And I couldn't do that without you guys, but I am still new to trying to actually promote my stuff and put myself out there. So yeah, if you're new, subscribe. If you're not, give me a comment, a like. Share this with one of your book-loving, romance, smutty, adult, erotic loving friends. And share it with them. And yeah, if this was not enough to satisfy you and you want to have me read the rest to you, I do have some more full-length recordings on Patreon. And if you scroll through my YouTube channel, you should find some other teasers And the more that I can do something with this, the more content I plan to publish. So stay tuned for more. And thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being here, for being supportive, for being a reader, and for being on this journey with me. Mwah. Lady Mac out. Love yous.